friends, it's Ashley with At Home with Ashley, and you want to do a project together? I know you do. Well, hopefully. Today we're going to hand paint some tiles, and I'm working on a huge renovation in our house. It's our main bedroom, and right now I'm standing in what's our bedroom right now. We're going to switch it to a different room, and this is going to be like a craft room. I'm so excited. That's kind of beside the point. But in that new bedroom, we're gonna build a DIY fireplace. This is a cold house because it's kind of older, and I just think having a fireplace in your room is actually very romantic. So for that fireplace, I want hand painted tile, and I searched everywhere to try to find some like affordable tile that I could get. Like I was happy to somewhat splurge, but I couldn't find anything I liked for the price point I was looking for. So I was like, maybe I could make some of my own. So that's what we're gonna do today. I have a method I think that'll work really nicely because it's tried and tested. I'll show you that in a second, but let's get painting. 5 years ago, I painted my ceramic bowls with paint specific for porcelain, and then I baked it so it'd stay on, and it's been in the dishwasher multiple times a week and it stayed on, so it's tried and tested. So this is the method I'm going to use for painting my tile. For the tiles, I am inspired by this pottery I've collected. It's all from China, and it's hand painted and absolutely gorgeous, but it's also simple enough that I think I can use the motifs and do it in my style and then add it to the tile. This is actually going to go on top of the fireplace that I'm making the tile for, so I thought that would be really good. I was traveling last week, and while I was traveling, I thought it would be fun to start practicing some different designs I wanted to create for the tile. This is one. And so what I did was I packed a little pouch, and it has different art supplies in it. A lot of these are for my son, but I want to show you what I brought with me in case you want to make a teeny little art kit for while you travel too, or it's kind of nice to have everything in one spot so it's easy to pull out. So this is a teeny tiny little art set, and this is a travel paintbrush. So this comes apart. Oh, it's hard to do this while I film. And you can kind of see how it goes like that. So then you can paint with it, and then it's tiny little baby small for when you want to put this away. Okay, I used watercolor paper because these are watercolors, and I wanted it nice and thick. And then I used this archival ink, and this was really nice because I could draw the pattern with it, and then once I used the watercolor, it didn't bleed. Other types of ink I tried did bleed, but this was good. And I also brought this teeny tiny water dropper. So what I would do was fill this with water and then get the different paints wet, and that would activate them. And then you can also use the inside if you want to clean out your brush on the go. And it's good to bring a paper towel with that so you can kind of blot your paintbrush. And I had a little baby ruler just so I could make sure I was drawing designs the size of each tile. And then it all went in this pouch, and it was really easy to travel with and just pull out when I was ready to do art, which I did at the hotel every night and in the morning too. But I think it could be fun to take this to a park and kind of paint like while you're outside. So there's some ideas. Here are all the different patterns I came up with while I was traveling. I wanted to do 3 birds, 4 different types of flowers, and hopefully these are all flowers that could actually grow in my yard, like a peony or a rose, and lots of cherry blossoms with the birds. And I thought I could like mix and match these, and then the bow is the main tile kind of for the front top middle of the fireplace. But I like how they all kind of work together but are different. And it was nice to experiment with color. Like I don't love the yellow flowers on here, so I think I'll paint these blue. I don't like an orange butterfly, so I think I'm gonna keep all the butterflies blue just to stay with the limited color palette. But it was really good to practice, and this wasn't my first attempt on most of these, so I kind of got better with time, and now I feel confident about moving on to the tile. Here are the supplies we're gonna use for this project. First, I'm just using 4x4 ceramic tile. I got this from Home Depot, 16 cents a piece. Then I have a fine tip marker that I'm going to use to draw on the design and the outline for the design. I have rubbing alcohol, and this is what I'm going to use to clean the tile off so that you have a nice clean base for painting. And then I have this porcelain tile. I bought most of it in a kit. I had to buy this pink separate and then the thinner for it separate. But the rest of the colors that I'm going to use all came in a kit. This was probably the most expensive part. It was $50 for the kit of paint. But buying pattern tiles is very expensive. The cheapest I could find was about $40 for 4 tiles. So this comes out to about $2 a tile. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is wash our tile. And to do that, we're just going to use rubbing alcohol on a cotton cloth. And even though these just came out of the box and they should be clean, you just want to make sure all your hard work is not going to get messed up because you're painting over something dirty. So start by rubbing alcohol, let it dry for a second, and then you can start painting. I thought we could paint together. I am going to do this one. This is going to be the main tile. The FC is for the name of my house, which is Fairview Cottage. I really love bows and I think this is fun. And then the 2 flowers to kind of look like all the rest of the designs. So what I'm doing first is I'm using this pen. It's the fine point pen, and I have a pen that I'm using to you have to push down on the pen to get the ink flowing. So later I can scrape this off and reuse that tile, but it's nice to have one just for that. And then when I drew my patterns at the end, I started making them about the right size as the tile. You can kind of see on that. So this will be easy to kind of try to transfer onto here. Easy-ish. This bow has a lot of details. So I'm going to start with the knot. Okay, so one thing I don't like on this is I feel like I kind of made this side too elongated. So one thing you can do is, although I drew on it with the pen, you can scratch it off. So if you ever mess up, you can just scrape, 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 and then I can kind of come back and shorten that a little and make that curve more match that one. It doesn't have to be perfect, but for me, I felt like it was too much. So I have the rubbing alcohol over here too, which I can clean it up with. So if you make a mistake, all is not lost. I'm just trying to get the debris of scratching that off with the alcohol. Anyway, I'm gonna keep scratching, then I'll fix it up. Okay, so there's that fixed up. And it doesn't have to be perfect. This is supposed to be fun. And sometimes when something's handmade, it's not perfect, and that's part of the beauty. So I feel like this is good though. I'm happy with that. It's not gonna bug me. And then I can let this dry for 24 hours. I haven't decided if I'm gonna bake it first.
Okay, so it took me about 5 minutes, 7 minutes to draw each tile. And now that they're all drawn, I am going to be adding in paint. This is the pink, the tender pink, and I love this color, and I'm just pretty much coloring in the lines. But it was really thick, so I added paint thinner to make it easier to apply.
So I painted all the pink on the tiles, and the reason I did one color at a time is I want to mix custom colors for the green and the brown and the blue, because I'm really picky about what colors I use. So I'm going to add the gold next for the middle of flowers and that kind of stuff, and then I'll custom mix colors. And the paint seems to dry really quickly.
So here's the gold going on, and I love this because it's going to give that metallic sheen, which is going to be really pretty. It's not quite what I had in my pictures, but I think it'll be nice. And then I started mixing colors. I just added white to everything. I added a little too much white with that brown, so I had to add more brown. And now I am just adding the brown that I did onto the tiles, and I just mixed paint and then put it on and colored in the lines. This is so easy. I promise anybody can do this. I think the outline's the trickiest part, but painting in these fun colors, not hard at all, maybe a little time consuming. Just put on a good show and have fun doing it.
Okay, so all the colors are on all of the tiles and it's looking really good, but I need to go back and mix some darker green, darker blue, and darker pink, and then just kind of add highlights to give it some depth and interest.
That'll go a long way. And the very last thing I need to do is go back in with black, so you can kind of see, like here, I lost details when I painted over the leaves. So now this is how you add on the depths of the different colors. So I'm just adding a darker green and putting it kind of on the tree leaves. This is what got covered up with black. I'm kind of adding with highlights with different colors like the green and the blue. And I went a little bit lighter with the blue and then darker on this pink. And this is making it look more artistic, more professional. So this is a step. It takes a little bit of time, but it's really the funnest part and it makes it look so good. I started adding some black outlines on a few of these and I stopped after a minute because I didn't really like it. It makes the black much more pronounced, and I ended up just kind of liking how, even though I kind of wasn't like the perfect painter, the black kind of got covered up a little. So I added a few details like on these leaves, but I mostly decided not to do the black outline. But now they've been sitting about 24 hours so we can bake them.
If you are wondering how these will be used in a fireplace, let me show you. So I made this DIY fireplace last June. It's in my kitchen. I love it, especially in the cold winters. And you can kind of see this 4x4 tile is a really similar size to this hex tile we built, we added in. And so what we'll do is we'll start with the frame, put the fireplace in, and then we will size it accordingly because all the rest of the wood is, you know, we just built it. It's a DIY, so we can cut it. So this will fit in very nicely when we do our main bedroom fireplace, which is what this is for.
Okay, these have dried for 24 hours and it's now time to bake them. So the oven is turned to 300 degrees and they're on baking sheets so I don't break them. Hopefully these didn't quite fit, but I think it'll be fine. And they're gonna go in there for 35 minutes and then I'll show you what they look like.